most blog. Let's review. What is three-dimensional mobility stability? We want to be mobile, but stable at the same time. You can't separate those two things. Mobility and stability are like two sides of a coin. So as we continue our series on improving your squat, we got to look at both elements. Are we mobile? Are we stable? Today's blog goes up to the thoracic spine. We covered the feet. We covered the hips. We got to have the mobility there in order to then be stable as we drop into that squat. We talked about the spine angle. Now we're on to how do we mobilize that thoracic spine. Keith's going to demonstrate a fault that we see quite commonly with this. We're going to turn you at an angle that way. There you go. As he goes down into that squat, you see how that bar comes out in front of his feet? We want that bar to be vertical over his center of mass. That means that his thoracic spine, it could mean that his thoracic spine is too stiff, is too tight, is not mobile enough. Go ahead and come back up. If that happens, if he doesn't have the mobility in his thoracic spine, he's going to put a lot of strain on his shoulders. A lot of CrossFit people have shoulder problems. How do we avoid that? We got to free up the thoracic spine. Here's our stretch of the week. Keith's going to lie down on the ground. We're going to get into a sideline position. This is called a windmill exercise. So back to our mobility, stability. We get the hip at a 90-degree angle. He's going to push that knee into that bolster. You can use a towel, a pillow, a foam roll. But as he pushes down, he's activating that inner thigh muscle to get stability at the pelvis. Knees up as high as we can, so we take up slack here. Now the shoulder here, he's going to reach out, and as he reaches his top arm as far out as he can, he's activating a muscle here called the serratus to get stability in the shoulder. Now we're going to go into a windmill. He rolls that across in the windmill. The shoulder has to upwardly rotate, mobilizes the lat, so we're getting good motion in the lat. Comes across. Now we're into a pec stretch, stretching the pectoral. As you rotate down, you don't necessarily want this hand to touch the floor because we don't want that shoulder to pop forward. We want to stretch the pectoral without stressing the joint. So this is actually a perfect angle for Keith to get the stretch in the pectoral, the lat. Thoracic spine is moving. He's going to increase that by taking 2 or 3 breaths. That gets the rib cage to move. And then he's going to come all the way back into that windmill. Meanwhile, he's still smashing that knee into that bolster the whole time. One more time, Keith. Reaches forward, comes across in the windmill, smashing that right knee into the bolster. You can synchronize the breath as you come across. Hold it for one more breath. Feel the mobility, feel the mobility. Pelvis, though, is being stabilized with that inner thigh muscle. Then he comes back around. That's going to be a great stretch to try this week to free up the thoracic spine so that you get the most out of your workout. Have a good week.